Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex from South Coast TV if you don't know that already, and today we're going to be talking about how to set up a business, how we've been running ours, how we started, the highs, the lows, the good times, the bad times, the things to do, the things not to do, and what we use to run our business. Let's make a cup of tea together. We'll then sit down. Make sure you watch the whole video because it's quite an interesting one. There's going to be some really good insights for you guys out there if you're looking to start a business, or you already have but you're in the early days, because we've learned a lot along the 2.5 years we've been running, and I'd like to share that with you. Let's get that tea and then we'll sit down. I'm out of milk, didn't realise I haven't got that tea, but I hope you have. So yeah, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to share with everyone sort of our journey as to how we started, and if you're thinking of setting up a business, you know, we've learned a lot of things along the way. We're not experts, and there may well be some better tips out there from other guys that have maybe done similar videos or are in a similar position to us. But I just wanted to share it so you can watch this, you can hopefully learn some things, and then if you are considering setting up or you're new to having set up a business, there should be some tips and tricks in here that will help you. Later on in the video, we'll also talk about the software we use to run our business and how that has really helped us. So let's start with, how did we set up at South Coast EV? So at the end of 2021, myself and Pete were working for a company that were struggling a little bit. Bills weren't being paid on time, that sort of thing. I'm not going to delve into that too much because it's not really fair to go into for them. But it made me and Pete have that decision. We spoke, and I'd sort of been thinking about it a while, and I think he had too, and me and Pete had worked together for about 5 or 6 years on a couple of different companies, so we knew each other really well. We put up with each other, we wind each other up, we get on well, and it's a great partnership. So we decided Christmas of 2021, we were going to hand our notices in, and we were going to set up South Coast EV and Contracting Limited. Now, we didn't really know what we needed to do that other than register the name, get that registered so it couldn't be taken. So we did that on the Gov website. It was about 12 quid to register your name. And yeah, we basically broke up for the Christmas break and had no real plan as to what we were going to be doing when we come back from that break. But on I think January the 4th, when we returned, our first job was putting in some downlights for a friend of mine. He needed a job doing anyway, and he was more than happy to use me. I'd done some work at their property previously when I worked for someone else, and yeah, he liked the standard of my work. He was happy to trust us to do that job for him. So that's sort of how we started, and it was sort of a last minute thing, almost overnight. We met for a beer, got the name registered, and then we started making a list of things that we're going to need in place to then get this business ready to operate before that day of January the 4th. So let's talk about that in a bit more detail. So when setting up a business, obviously we had chosen our name, fantastic. We've got that registered on the Gov website, South Coast EV and Contracting Limited. What else are we going to need to be able to run the business? We're Sparkies, right? We know what we're doing. We can do electrical work all day long, every day, all night. That's great. But that's not the only thing that we need to be able to do. We need certain things in place to protect ourselves and to protect our customers from anything that may go wrong potentially. Touch wood, it doesn't, but you need these things in place in case it does. It protects you, it protects the customer. So we need to get public liability in place and professional indemnity. I can't recall who we used at the time, but now we use Rhino Trade Insurance. Super quick to set up with them. It literally took 5 minutes. Very competitively priced, and they're a great bunch of guys and gals. So public liability, professional indemnity. You also need to be with a governing body for obviously the electrical work, such as the NIC or NAPIT, unless you're one of these Part P guys and you're doing it on a job by job basis. In terms of signing off work, we weren't. We went NIC, EOC, full scope. So yeah, you need to make arrangements with them or NAPIT, make your application, pay the fees, etc., and then book in the assessment. Now the assessment was obviously probably a couple of months down the line from actually setting up. So what it enabled us to do was build up some work that we could then show him or her. It was a man that we had come out So public liability, professional indemnity, governing body, NIC, NAPIT. There might be some others, but yeah, we chose the NIC. So that's that. How are you going to get to work? If you're fortunate enough to already had a vehicle when you set up, fantastic. We didn't, because we were with a company that provided vehicles. So my partner's grandparents were very kind to let us borrow an old beat-up van they had. I think it was like a 2000 reg, something like that. But it was perfect for what we needed. We were super excited about it. It was our own van. We can load up what we need, and yeah, happy days. So yeah, it wasn't the best van, but it got us started, which was the main thing. We needed a van, we needed insurances, we needed to be with the governing body. You also need to consider, how are you going to invoice your customers? Are you going to use some accounting software? How are you going to do it? Having worked for a company that, they weren't a large company, but they were using procedures that small, medium and large companies may well use in terms of accounting softwares and things like that. So I think at the start we went with QuickBooks, so we'd invoice through QuickBooks because we had no other software that would enable us to do that. We'll talk about what we use now a bit later on in regards to how we run our business. Yeah, so we started with QuickBooks and we now use Xero, but yeah, QuickBooks is really good. You can do all your invoices in there. You can then also share it with your accountant, which I'll come on to in a minute, so they can see it. And then you can send a professional invoice and quote whatever to your customer with all your details on, etc. And that's how we did that. And then in regards to accountants, you may choose not to have an accountant at the start. Much like with the thing where we chose to use QuickBooks, when we could have done like Excel and things like that and PDF, couldn't be asked for that. We just went sort of, let's try and make this look professional, and also so it's organised. We chose QuickBooks, and we also chose to use an accountant. So you may feel that you don't need an accountant if it's just one of you. You may be happy doing the accountancy sort of side of things like yourself and doing the books and stuff. We didn't want that hassle or stress because we've just set up a business. We don't really know what we're doing. We can do electrical work, but in regards to running a business and keeping a log of everything, your guess was as good as mine. So we chose to set up an accountant, so they deal with all of our paperwork. So we do all of our jobs, we invoice them, we quote them, whatever. We pay them monthly to do our bookkeeping and quarterly to do our VAT returns. So once a quarter, they'll ask for all of our invoices for materials we purchased, all of our expenses, etc., our bank statements and all that stuff, and then they'll work out what we owe the VAT man. If you've gone VAT registered, of course, which I may have skipped, you'll need to decide at the start of setting up your business, do you need to be VAT registered? Is it worth becoming VAT registered, or shall you wait until the point you need to become? And I think the point at which you need to become VAT registered is once you've turned over £80,000 in a year. We chose to just become VAT registered from the start because we knew with the nature of the works we were doing, we were going to hit that quite quickly. So I think in our first year, we turned over about £180,000. And that wasn't because we were doing absolutely amazing. We did quite well, but it was just the nature of the works we were doing were quite large values. So we hit that quite easily. So we just become VAT registered from the start. I'll pop all the links in the description for all of these things I've spoken about so far, because I may have skimmed over a few of them, and some of it may have been confusing potentially if I've done so apologies if I have. But yeah, so we've covered getting your name set up, your insurances, governing body, quoting and invoicing software, and whether you want to go down the accountancy route or not. For us, it's been really useful having the accountants, because all of that sort of liability with making sure our books are correct is with them. Obviously, we've provided them with the information, and then they sort that out. And they have been useful, to be fair. We have learned a lot from them as well. So in the future, we may look to go down the route of not using them, because we've learned a lot from them, and we might not really need them. Equally, they're useful to have on side. And if we have any questions about things business related in terms of claiming for stuff, etc., they're super useful for that, and they're local to us. Which is one thing I would say, if you do choose an accountant, make sure they're fairly local to your business, so you can always pop in and see them as well. So that's all those boring topics. Let's move on. Running the business as a Sparky. I thought, and Pete did, how hard can that be? We're Sparkies, we're the best. But I have to say, we're absolutely wrong. Running a business is hard, it's tough, man. It is not easy, and it is not for everyone. whatever you do in running a business, no matter whether you're a tradesman, you own a shop, whatever it is, running a business is one of the toughest jobs, I think, because there's a lot that goes into running that business outside of what you actually do for a job. So whether you're baking cakes, selling bread, running a corner shop, being a tradesman, whatever it is, outside of you actually doing your job, what you're good at, so Sparkying for us, there's all this other stuff that you just don't think about with running a business, like paying people, paying off invoices, paying wholesalers, chasing people for money. There's loads of things, and we've learned so much, from watching other people do things wrong and other people do things right, and speaking with other tradespeople that had started their business before we did. We've learned loads, and I feel I can pass that knowledge on with you. And I think one of the main things that I took from somewhere I worked that wasn't happening was paying off your invoices on time or early. Now, what I mean by that is when we do a job for a customer, so we do a job for Joe Blogs, we've whacked in an EV charger, not literally, we've installed it to a high standard, customers paid, we've also had materials from wholesaler, our preference is Yes Electrical over in Poole. So from the point we've been paid by the customer, what I like about Yes's website is I can go onto their website and I can find all of the different invoices we currently got with them, and I can pay off which ones I want. So we'll do that job immediately. I'll then, once we've received the funds, I'll pay off the materials for that job with the wholesaler, and then we'll put away the VAT, ready for our VAT return and the profit, etc., etc. And then what that enables you to do is it just enables you to keep on top of your bills with wholesalers, so you're always in advance of that, and you're not behind, because you don't want to become behind with wholesalers, because then your account goes on stop and this and that. And it's a minefield, really. You just got to make sure that you when you got money coming in, you're not spending it on things that it's not allocated for. So get your invoices paid off straight away. And Yes, it's been really easy to do that with on their website. Some of the other wholesalers, you can do a similar thing. And some wholesalers we avoid because I just don't like their invoicing methods. So yeah, pay your invoices off straight away, set the money aside for the VAT straight away if you become VAT registered. So we use Starling, our bank account, business bank account, and within that we can create spaces. So they're like saving spaces, but you can name them. So we've got VAT, corporation tax, profit. And then we move across the VAT from the job into the VAT, profit into the profit, and so forth. And then that just enables you to always know you're on top of things, and then money that's actually in the account, not in those pots, is what's in the business available. And when I say available, I don't mean to just spend, but you might be buying more tools for the business, you could be buying a van, whatever, purchases for the business that are required to run that business and improve it. So that's one of the major things I took from other people I've worked with when we set up. We decided that we must operate in this way. We pay off our bill for that job once we've received the funds. And then you just don't get behind. And that was the biggest lesson I learned from other people when we set up. That was the one thing I knew straight away that we must do. So me and Pete had got through the first year. We'd done really well. We'd been subcontracting to some people. We started to get our own work in. It was all going quite well, and we thought, let's try and expand. So we took on a couple of guys, so we could expand the company and take on more work, which was great. We got ourselves a little office, and we're now in this bigger office on the same complex, just a larger unit. And so start of the second year, or towards the end of the first year, start of the second, we took on a couple of guys. So then we're entering then, we've gone through 2022, that's 2023, we're then starting. And it was all going well. We were obviously starting to take on more work, but then we had a new thing to worry about. We've now got 2 employees. What do we need to get in place for them that we don't currently have because it was just us? So a couple of things to think about with having employees is obviously you need to give them a pension. So we used Nest pensions. So each month they pay in a percentage towards that pension scheme, and as employers, so do we. And the ratio split, I think, is 5 and 3%. I think 3% they pay in, 5% we pay in. As an employee, they can opt out of it, but we strongly advise the guys that they pursue through with having a pension because they'll appreciate that in the future. So pension. We then needed to change our public liability and professional indemnity insurances to account for further employees now on the business. we had to update, our website, all of our procedures and policies, health and safety policies, RAMs, all that sort of stuff. And it was a learning curve. It takes a lot of time to do that sort of stuff. And we got through all that. We've updated all our policies, providing the guys with PPE, so hard hats, high vis, gloves, goggles, all that sort of stuff for the relevant tasks they might be doing and where they might need that. Vans, we had to get another van. I've actually skipped one thing. I'll just jump back to you really quickly. So the old beat up van we used it for 6 months, and then we purchased a Vivaro, second-hand 69 plate Vivaro, got it all sign written up. You may have seen it, looks really nice. So yeah, we took on some guys. We thought, we might need a van for these guys because they're not going to be able to walk into work. So we got another van, another cost. Got all that sorted, and so we started going through 2023. It was all looking great. They're busy, we're busy. It enabled us to spend a bit of time in the office, so we do like 3 days on the tools, maybe 4, and then a couple of days in the office doing paperwork, test certs, all that sort of thing. And so we've gone through 2023. Let's move into the second half of 2023. We'd hit a little quiet spell. Now this is where I'm coming into like the highs and lows of running a business. We hit a little quiet spell, and we thought, that's all right, let's just see how this goes. Let's not make any hasty decisions. But the quiet spell continued for quite a while, and we had to come to a point where we thought, do we keep the guys on and potentially ruin the business by not being able to, pay them? We've got no jobs coming in, there's no money coming in on jobs they'd normally be doing. Or do we make the right decision for the business and let the guys go? So unfortunately, towards the end of 2023, we did have to let the guys go. They took it really well, which was really appreciated, because it was playing on my mind certainly for a while, having to have the conversation. It's not a nice conversation to have. But we had to let them go. They've now gone on and obviously got other jobs, and it's great. And we made sure that they had employment before leaving us, because that's what we're like. We're not just going to kick people to the curb. It was a tough decision that we didn't want to happen, but it is what it is. So they had to then leave us, which meant we've gone back down to me and Pete. And I just wanted to sort of share that, because everything that's great on social media, right? Not many people show the highs and lows, and we've nothing to hide here. And it's just one of those things. Like, other businesses will just be like, nah, let's just plow on. We've still got no work coming in. We've got no way to pay you, but we're going to keep you on. And it's just not right. So we had to make that decision, which wasn't nice, but it is what it is. They've moved on. They've got other jobs. We're still here. Let's talk about the ways we get our jobs coming into the business. So we get work coming in through various avenues. We still do a little bit of subcontracting, which can fill our days when we haven't got a lot going on. We will need to fill the diaries. A couple of companies we subcontract to. But most of our work comes through word of mouth or through our website. And actually, since we've grown our social media, more so on Instagram, and now we're doing the YouTube, we've seen work come from that, which is awesome. What I would say is it's very important to get yourself on social media as a tradesperson. At the start, I was like, what is the point of this? I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be on camera. And look at me now. And it's been really great, because on Instagram, that's more for we use it for communicating with other tradespeople, businesses that we work with, and that sort of thing. And then YouTube, we're showing off what we can do, what we do, the jobs we've done. And it enables our customers to see that, and we get leads coming in that way. We also work with some regular builders and that sort of thing, and we are on Checker Trade. We don't use that much, but what I will say is, do your best to get reviews from your customers. And I know not every person will leave a review, but get reviews, get on Google reviews. And if you're using Checker Trade, it is critical you get the reviews, because reviews on Checker Trade are what will lead potential customers to select and use you. And not many people know, but if the customer doesn't actually leave a review, they don't get the Checker Trade guarantee. I don't think they're told that enough. So we didn't know till recently. So we've been telling our customers, we do Checker Trade, look, leave a review. It's not just for our benefit, it's actually for yours as well, because you then get the Checker Trade guarantee. So if something goes wrong and we tell you to, see you later, we ain't coming, they'll send out another reputable electrician to sort that out. Not that we would ever do that, but it's a service Checkatrade have. So get reviews. They're the ways we have work coming in, so subcontracting, through the website, through YouTube and Instagram, local builders we work with, sometimes Checkatrade. And yeah, recommendation really. Recommendation is the best way of getting work. So yeah, let's move on to what we use to run our business and how we do that, because it's a really cool piece of software. So we use Powered Now, and Powered Now is the #1 job management tool available, in my opinion. Opinion only. Other people may have different opinions, but in my opinion, it's the #1 job management tool around. I've used others. This is the best I've used. Now, what it will let you do is it'll let you run your business from anywhere. You can integrate it with your accountancy software, so QuickBooks, Xero, Sage, whatever. You can quote within it. You can send your invoices. You can see if the customer's read your quote or invoice. You can upload your wholesaler invoices to it. You can track all of your costings as a business, so incomings, outgoings, profit, loss, all that sort of stuff. You can schedule jobs. There's also a customer portal where your customer can see previous work you've done, like their test certs, quotes, invoices, that sort of thing. And it's just really transformed the way we run our business. It makes our lives easier. I can use it on my desktop, I can use it on my phone, I can use it on the go, online, offline, all that sort of stuff. And it's absolutely awesome. And they've actually just released a couple of new features, which I'll have pop up on the screen. So they've now, I'm talking from a Sparky perspective, because that's why we use it, but it's open to all trades. They've just released the EV charging installation certificate on their software on there, and also Max ZS calculator and chart. So we'll get that up on the screen and show you that. So yes, one good thing actually on Powered Now, it's also got all of your test certs. So you could, if you want to, use Powered Now for your testing software, so you don't need other things like Mega, Sweet Cert and things like that. So you've got all of your EICs, EICRs, all that stuff, renewables, and they're always adding and developing based on other people's opinions that they've given them as users to them. And one of my things I've asked to see added, and I know they're working on, is on the test certs, automatic selection of the Max ZS based on the circuit information you've put in. It's not currently on there, but it will be. But the test certs are really good. Anyway, there's a 14-day free trial available to you. So if you sign up 14 days, no card details required, have a play around with it. It's pretty good. It's actually really good. So have a play around with it, look through all the features. Their website's got some really decent guides on for different things you can do on it. It'll go into way more detail than I have. And then if you like it, which I think you will, sign up on the business plan for a £75 upfront payment for 6 months. You then get the following 6 months for free. So that'd be 12 months for the price of 6. The link will be in the description below. And then you get access to all of that stuff I've explained. And like I said, you can even use the testing certs on it for all of your electrical work. So you don't need that additional cost of buying Mega Cert Suite or Easy Cell or whatever if you want to. They're always making improvements to it. So give it a go. It's pretty awesome. I've been using it for maybe 6 months now. I moved on from what I was using before, and it's 100% better. I really like it. And whether you use it for all of its features or just something specific, not Pacific, that's the ocean, it's really good. So yeah, give it a go. Let's wrap this up. I'm sure you're bored by now hearing me waffle on, but what I truly hope that this was useful to you. If you've watched this and you have some questions of things I've not answered, I've probably missed something out. Drop a comment below, or give me a call, pop me a message on Instagram, whatever, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But I just wanted to sort of share what we've done and what we've learned, because I feel it's really valuable to share that with other people that might be starting a business, because there's not a lot of help out there, and the best way to learn is from others that have been there, done it, made the mistakes and made the right decisions as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We try to post videos on here fortnightly of all our electrical work we're doing. We do normal electrical work, EV, solar, renewables, the lot. So yeah, every couple of weeks we're posting on here, and we're posting regularly on Instagram, but your support is really appreciated if you'd hit that subscribe button. And have a good weekend, and we'll see you on the next one.